Welcome dear students. Today we are going to learn about the policies responsible for establishment and development of bioindustries. The establishment and development of bioindustries is influenced by a variety of policies that government and regulatory bodies put in place. These policies are designed to foster a conducive environment for the growth of the bioindustry sector, ensuring sustainable practices, innovation and economic development. While specific policies may vary from country, region or jurisdiction, some common policies include: Number 1. Research and development R&D funding. Governments often allocate funds to support research and development activities in the bioindustries. This includes funding for scientific research, technological development and innovation in areas such as biotechnology, bioengineering and bioinformatics. Research and development funding plays a crucial role in the development of bioindustries, particularly in advancing scientific knowledge, driving innovation and supporting the commercialization of new technologies. Some key aspects and considerations related to R&D funding in the context of developing bioindustries are: governments often provide grants and funding through dedicated agencies to support basic research in the fields such as biotechnology, biochemistry and molecular biology. These funds help researchers explore fundamental scientific principles and potential applications. Collaborative efforts between government entities, research institutions and private companies can be facilitated through public-private partnerships. These partnerships often focus on applied research and development projects with clear commercialization potential. Governments may establish funding programs specifically tailored to the bioindustries. These programs target areas such as pharmaceuticals, agriculture, bioenergy and biomanufacturing, thereby providing financial support for projects with industry relevance. Funding initiatives that support startup companies and entrepreneurs in the bioindustries can be instrumental. This includes grants, incubators and accelerator programs designed to nurture early-stage ventures. Many countries offer tax incentives to companies engaged in research and development activities. These incentives can significantly reduce the financial burden associated with R&D investments, encouraging companies to allocate resources to innovation. Governments may encourage international collaboration in bioindustries by supporting joint research projects and partnerships with researchers and institutions from different countries. This fosters the exchange of knowledge and expertise. In the case of bioindustries related to healthcare, governments often allocate funds for research on specific diseases, drug development and medicinal technologies. This is crucial for addressing public health challenges and advancing medical science. Funding programs that facilitate the transfer of technologies from research institutions to the private sector support the commercialization of innovative bioindustry products and processes. R&D funding mechanisms should be adaptable to emerging technologies and changing scientific landscapes. Flexibility allows for the support of cutting-edge research and technologies that may not fit traditional funding models. Government should implement mechanisms to assess the impact of R&D funding on the development of bioindustries. This involves evaluating the success of funded projects, the commercialization of technologies and the overall contribution to economic and societal goals. Talking about the regulatory frameworks that influence the establishment and development of bioindustries. Governments establish regulatory frameworks to ensure the safety, efficacy and ethical considerations. This includes regulations for biopharmaceuticals, genetically modified organisms, GMOs, biofuels and other bio-based products. A clear and predictable regulatory environment encourages investment and development. Regulatory frameworks are crucial commercialization of products within the bioindustry sector. The various roles of regulatory frameworks are: number 1, establishing clear and transparent processes for the approval of bioindustrial products such as pharmaceuticals, agricultural biotechnology products, and bio-based materials are required. Rigorous safety and efficacy assessments should be conducted before products are allowed in the market. This includes development of regulations governing the research, development and release of genetically modified organisms, GMOs, biopharmaceuticals and other biotechnological applications. Implementation of procedures for assessing and mitigating the potential environmental impacts of bioindustrial activities. This includes considerations for the release of genetically modified organisms, bioenergy production and waste disposal. Addressing ethical concerns associated with bioindustries such as human genetic engineering, cloning and the use of biotechnologies in agriculture. This is achieved by establishing guidelines and oversight bodies to ensure ethical practices. Implementation of traceability systems for bioindustrial products to enable monitoring throughout the supply chain is important. Clear labeling requirements help consumers make informed choices and facilitate regulatory oversight. Regulatory frameworks are also responsible for the development and enforcement of regulations that protect intellectual property in the bioindustries. This includes patents for novel biotechnological inventions and regulations governing the licensing agreements. Regulatory frameworks for quality standards, established and enforcement of good manufacture practice (GMP) standards for the manufacturing of bioindustrial products, particularly in industries such as biopharmaceuticals and bio-based chemicals. These standards ensure product quality and consistency. Additionally, strive for harmonization with international regulatory standards to facilitate global trade and collaboration. This involves aligning regulatory processes and standards with those of major trading partners and international organizations. Developing contingency plans and regulations to address biosecurity concerns, including accidental releases of biohazardous materials or intentional acts that could harm public health or the environment. Now we are going to discuss the role of tax incentives and subsidies in the establishment and development of bioindustries. Tax incentives and subsidies are often used to encourage private investment in bioindustries. These may include tax credits for research and development, expenditures, investment incentives, and subsidies for bioenergy production or bio-based product manufacturing. Tax incentives and subsidies are important policy tools that governments use to promote the establishment and growth of bioindustries. These financial incentives aim to stimulate private investment, encourage innovation, and support the development of sustainable bio-based products and technologies. Some considerations and policies related to tax incentives and subsidies in the context of establishing bioindustries are: number 1, provide tax credits to companies engaged in research and development activities within the bioindustries. This encourages investment in innovative projects, leading to the development of new technologies and products. Number 2, offer tax credits for investments in facilities, equipment, and infrastructure related to the bioindustrial activities. This can include credit for the construction of bio-based manufacturing facilities or the purchase of advanced biotechnology equipment. Number 3, provide financial incentives such as RECs to companies involved in the production of bioenergy or other renewable energy sources. This supports the development of sustainable energy solutions within the bioindustries. Number 4, introduce tax credits for the production of bio-based products, including biofuels, bio-based chemicals, and biomaterials. These credits promote the commercialization of environmentally friendly alternatives. Offer tax incentives for the construction of green buildings or facilities that adhere to sustainable and environmental friendly practices within the bioindustries. Implement tax credits for bioindustrial activities that contribute to biodiversity conservation and sustainable resource management. This encourages companies to adopt practices that minimize environmental impact. Provide tax incentives for companies investing in employee training and education programs related to bioindustrial technologies. This supports the development of a skilled workforce. Allow accelerated depreciation for investments in bioindustrial assets, encouraging companies to upgrade equipment and facilities to stay competitive. Provide tax credits for companies exporting bio-based products. This promotes international trade and market. Expansion for bioindustrial goods. Design tax incentives that specifically benefit small and medium-sized enterprises involved in bioindustries, recognizing their role in fostering innovation and entrepreneurship. Encourage collaboration between research institutions and private companies by offering tax credits for joint research initiatives that advance bioindustrial technologies. Periodically review and assess the effectiveness of tax incentives and subsidies for bioindustries, adjusting policies as needed to address changing industry dynamics and technological advancements. Now we are going to discuss how intellectual property protection influences the establishment and development of bioindustries. Strong intellectual property protection is crucial for fostering innovation in bioindustries. Policies that protect the rights of researchers and companies to their discoveries and inventions encourage investment in research and development. Policies related to intellectual property protection provide legal frameworks that incentivize investment in research and development, encourage the commercialization of discoveries, and safeguard the rights of inventors and companies. Some intellectual property protection policies for bioindustries are related to: Number 1. Establish patent laws and regulations that specifically address biotechnological inventions. These laws should provide clear criteria for patentability of bioindustrial processes, genetic sequences, and other innovations. Implement processes that expedite the examination and approval of patent applications related to bioindustries, recognizing the rapid pace of innovation in biotechnology. Integrate ethical considerations into intellectual property policies, particularly in cases involving genetic engineering, cloning, and other sensitive bioindustrial applications. This may involve establishing guidelines for responsible and ethical use of biotechnological inventions. Encourage the use of confidentiality agreements and non-disclosure agreements to protect trade secrets within the bioindustries. Companies should have legal recourse against unauthorized use of disclosure of private information. Implement policies that provide data exclusivity for a specified period, preventing the unauthorized use of clinical trial data submitted for regulatory approval. This encourages investment in research and development for bioindustrial products. Extend intellectual property protection to plant varieties through plant variety protection laws, enabling plant breeders to secure exclusive rights to their developed varieties. Encourage collaborative research and development by facilitating agreements that define the ownership and use of intellectual property, resulting from joint ventures or collaborative projects. Develop policy that facilitate the transfer of bioindustrial technologies from research institutions to the private sector. This can involve establishing technological transfer offices from streamlining licensing processes. Implement education programs to increase awareness and understanding of intellectual property rights within the bioindustries. This helps the researchers and companies navigate IP issues effectively, ensure alignment with international intellectual property treaties, and agreements to provide cross-border protection for bioindustry. inventions. Now we are going to discuss the role of education and workforce development in the establishment and development of bioindustries. Policies aimed at developing a skilled workforce in biotechnology and related fields contribute to the growth of the bioindustries. This may involve investments in education, training programs, and initiatives to attract talent to the sector. Education and workforce development policies play a critical role in establishing and nurturing a skilled workforce for the bioindustries. These policies are essential to ensure that there is a pool of qualified professionals, researchers and technicians capable of driving innovation, conducting research and contributing to the growth of the bioindustry sector. Some considerations in establishing education and workforce development initiatives for bioindustries include: Number 1. Establish academic programs at universities and technical institutions focused on biotechnology, bioengineering and related fields. Develop curricula that align with the needs of the bioindustries and include hands-on training. Allocate research funding to universities and research institutions for bioindustry research. This encourages collaboration between academia and industry, fostering innovation and knowledge transfer. Encourage collaboration between education institutions and bioindustrial companies through joint research initiatives. This can involve establishing research centers, partnerships, and knowledge exchange programs. Develop internship and apprenticeship programs that provide students with practical experience in bioindustries. These programs facilitate the transition from academic study to professional work environments. Implement professional development and continuing education programs for individuals already working in the bioindustries. This helps them stay updated on the latest technologies and industry trends. Support initiatives that promote science, technology, engineering and mathematics (STEM) education at the primary and secondary school levels. Building a strong foundation in STEM subjects is crucial for pursuing careers in bioindustries. Provide scholarships and grants to students pursuing degrees in bioindustry fields. Financial support helps attract talented individuals and reduces barriers to entry. Implement programs that promote diversity and inclusion in bioindustries. This includes initiatives to encourage underrepresented groups, including women and minorities, to pursue careers in science and technology. Offer programs that provide training in entrepreneurship for individuals interested in starting their own bioindustrial ventures. This includes business planning, technological commercialization, and access to startup resources. Develop industry certification programs for specific skills relevant to the bioindustries. Certifications can help individuals demonstrate their expertise to employers. Establish advisory boards comprising industry professionals to provide guidance on educational programs, ensuring alignment with industry needs and trends. Implement visa programs to attract and retain skilled professionals from around the world, fostering a global competitive workforce in bioindustries. Develop online platforms that offer courses and resources for continuous learning in bioindustrial fields, accommodating the need for lifelong learning in a rapidly evolving industry. Collaborate with industry stakeholders to assess future workforce needs and develop strategies for workforce planning, ensuring a skilled workforce that meets the demand of the bioindustries. Now we are going to discuss the public-private partnerships. Collaboration between government entities, research institutions, and private companies through public-private partnerships can accelerate the development and commercialization of bioindustrial technologies. These partnerships often leverage combined resources and expertise. Public-private partnership (PPPs) are instrumental in establishing and advancing bioindustries by leveraging the strengths of both the public and private sectors. These partnerships facilitate resource sharing and innovation to drive the growth of the bioindustry sector. These include: allocate funding to support collaborative R&D projects between public research institutions and private companies in the bioindustries. This can involve joint grant programs or competitive funding opportunities. Establish mechanisms to facilitate the transfer of technologies developed in public research institutions to private companies. streamlining licensing processes and creating technology transfer offices that can encourage private sector adoption. Create incubators and innovation hubs that bring together startups, researchers, and industry experts. These collaborative spaces foster innovation, networking, and the development of bioindustrial technologies. Invest in shared research infrastructure that can be assessed by both public and private entities. This reduces duplication of resources and promotes cost-effective utilization of advanced research facilities. Work towards harmonizing regulatory processes between public regulatory bodies and private industry. This streamlines product development and approval processes, reducing time to market. Develop joint education and training programs that address the specific skill needs of the bioindustries. This can involve internships, workshops, and specialized courses conducted in collaboration with industry partners. Establish flexible intellectual property protection arrangements that encourage collaboration and sharing between public and private entities. Clear guidelines on ownership, licensing, and commercialization can enhance transparency and cooperation. Provide public funding or grants to support early-stage startups and private ventures in the bioindustries. This can help mitigate the risks associated with innovative projects. Develop joint marketing and commercialization programs to promote bioindustrial products developed through public-private partnerships. This can include support for market access and international trade initiatives. Establish advisory committees comprising industry representatives to provide input and guidance on public policies and initiatives related to bioindustries. Provide tax incentives or financial benefits to private companies engaging in public-private partnerships within the bioindustries. This encourages private sector investment in collaborative projects. Now we are going to discuss the implement mechanisms to share risks between public-private partners in public-private partnerships. This could involve risk-sharing agreements, insurance mechanisms, or other strategies to encourage private sector participation. Integrate environmental and social impact considerations into public-private partnership agreements. This ensures that bioindustrial projects are developed into a sustainable and responsible manner. Establish clear performance metrics and evaluation criteria for public-private partnerships to assess the success and impact of collaborative initiatives. Regular monitoring helps ensure accountability and continuous improvement. Now we are going to discuss the environmental sustainability and its influence on the establishment and development of bioindustries. Policies promoting environmentally sustainable practices in bioindustries help address concerns related to biodiversity, ecosystem health, and climate change. This may include regulations on waste disposal, emissions, and sustainable sourcing of bioresources. Environmental sustainability policies are crucial for establishing bioindustries that operate responsibly, minimize ecological impact, and contribute to sustainable development. These policies address various aspects of bioindustrial activities, from resource management to waste disposal. These include policies like: number 1, set targets for reducing greenhouse gas emissions associated with bioindustrial activities. Encourage the development and adoption of technologies that minimize carbon footprints. Establish criteria for the sustainable sourcing of biomass and other raw materials used in bioindustrial processes. Promote responsible land use and biodiversity conservation. Promote circular economy principles within bioindustries, focusing on waste minimization, recycling, and the efficient use of resources throughout the product life cycle. Implement water efficiency standards and promote technologies that minimize water use in bioindustrial processes. Address potential water pollution concerns associated with bioindustrial activities. Establish energy efficiency standards for bioindustrial facilities. Encourage the use of energy efficient technologies and renewable energy sources to reduce environmental impact. Develop certification programs for bioenergy production to ensure that biofuels and other bioenergy sources are produced sustainably without causing deforestation or other adverse environmental effects. Biodiversity impact assessments for bioindustrial projects especially those involving land use changes. Implement measures to mitigate potential negative impacts on biodiversity. Establish and enforce regulations regarding the release and management of genetically modified organisms to prevent potential environmental risks and ensure responsible biotechnology use. Mandate comprehensive environment impact assessments (EIAs) for new bioindustry projects. Assess potential environmental impacts and ensure that projects adhere to sustainability criteria. Implement regulations to ensure that bioindustrial products are biodegradable and have environmentally friendly disposable options. Encourage the development of bio-based materials with minimum environmental impact. Encourage the use of sustainable and biodegradable packaging materials and implement policies to reduce single-use plastics in bioindustry products. Implement public awareness and education programs to inform consumers and stakeholders about the environmental benefits and considerations of bioindustries. Provide financial incentives for bioindustrial companies adopting sustainable practices. This can include tax credits, grants, or subsidies for environmentally friendly initiatives. Establish monitoring and enforcement mechanisms to ensure compliance with environmental sustainability regulations. Enforce penalties for non-compliance to encourage responsible practices. Collaborate with international organizations to harmonize sustainability standards for bioindustries. This facilitates global trade and ensures consistent environmental stewardship. Role of market access and trade policies in establishment and development of bioindustries. Governments may implement policies that facilitate market access for bioindustrial products both domestically and internationally. This includes trade agreements, standards, harmonization, and measures to address non-tariff barriers, biosecurity measures, and their influence on the establishment and development of bioindustries. Policies related to the biosecurity are critical for preventing the spread of harmful pathogens and ensuring the safe handling of biohazardous materials. These measures safeguard public health and environment. Lastly, the influence of innovation clusters and incubators on the establishment and development of bioindustries. Governments may support the formation of innovation clusters and incubators that bring together researchers, entrepreneurs, and industry experts. These environments encourage collaboration, knowledge sharing, and the development of a supportive ecosystem for bioindustries. This is the end of today's lecture. Thank you all for joining and hope you found it informative and engaging.